The American family vehicle has significantly evolved over the past 149 years, from Carl Benz's patent motor wagon to the family vehicles of today. What began as a luxury item for aristocrats enabled increased freedom and mobility for millions of Americans, in the form of the Ford Model T, America's people's car, and the vehicles that came afterwards. Over the years, vehicles have gotten larger, lower, wider, heavier, and more powerful, with ever larger engines until the gas crisis of 1973 and 1979, which forced change fast. In response to new CAFE fuel MPG regulations, vehicles changed significantly, and eventually evolved into the modern SUV, crossover, and pickup truck. Now I provide a brief overview. How has the American family vehicle evolved over the past 149 years? To answer that question, we must go way back to the late 19th century, where one German man will revolutionize the way we go from point A to B. It all began in 1886, when Carl Benz filed a patent with the Imperial Patent Office for a three-wheeled vehicle with a gas engine. 2 years later, his wife, Bertha Benz, took her husband's patent motor car on a 60-mile road trip from Mannheim to Pforzheim. On the way, she discovered several problems with the car, such as its cooling system needing water refills every 12 miles, the car not being able to climb hills and uneven terrain, and a blocked fuel line. As a result of the trip, the patent motor car gained an avalanche of publicity, and 10 years later, Carl Benz's company, Benz & Cie, sold nearly 600 vehicles. As a result, countless automakers started making cars, including Charles Duryea, who made the first ever American vehicle, the 1893 Duryea automobile. That same year, Henry Ford made the first self-propelled vehicle in Detroit, powered by a gasoline engine. 3 years later, after selling the car, he made another one, and soon gained a job as the chief engineer of the Detroit Automobile Company. In 1902, he resigned from the company, after witnessing minimal sales and the company prioritizing profits over innovation. 1 year later, he founded the Ford Motor Company and began production on the Ford Model A small two-cylinder runabout. Over the next few years, Ford sold a wide array of other vehicles under his brand, including the 4-cylinder Model B and the 6-cylinder Model K. In 1908, after years of planning, Ford began production on the car that put America on wheels, the Ford Model T. At an affordable starting price of $825, the vehicle quickly boosted their sales, which made the company's existing Piquette Street factory obsolete. In order to handle the ever-increasing amount of cars being made, Ford bought a large amount of land in Highland Park to build a new factory, which doubled the production output in 1910. Until its discontinuation in 1927, Ford sold over 15 million Model Ts, with its combination of low price, durability, and ease of use. That same year, in order to compete with General Motors, Ford replaced the long-running Model T with a significantly more modern car, the Ford Model A. In 1907, William Durant founded General Motors after acquiring several other car manufacturers, such as Buick, Cadillac, Oldsmobile, and many more. In 1910, after witnessing their sales collapse due to competition from the Model T, Durant was forced to seize control of his company, the Bankers. Not long after, he met Louis Chevrolet, and after some successful planning, the Chevrolet Motor Company was formed a year later. Chevrolet affordable and stylish vehicles sold very well, putting a dent in Model T sales, and by 1916, Chevrolet had controlling interest in General Motors, and Durant was back in charge. Only 4 years later, he was replaced with Alfred P. Sloan, who turned General Motors into the most successful auto company in America, with strategies including a pricing structure to sell to people of many incomes, and annual styling changes to get people to buy new cars more often. In 1929, in response to Ford's new Model A, General Motors launched their inline-six for passenger cars, marketing it as a 6 for the price of 4. In response, Ford began development on their legendary flathead V8. In order to keep costs down, the engine block was cast as a single unit and used a simple L-head intake. Upon its launch in 1932, the engine made 65 horsepower, 5 more than GM's inline 6. It also sold very well, with V8 powered Ford Model 18s outselling the 4-cylinder Model Bs nearly 2 to 1. As a result, Ford struggled to build the engines fast enough to meet demand. In the 1930s, Streamline Modern was the dominant style, significantly influencing car design through the use of sleek and aerodynamic shapes, greatly increasing performance through the reduction of drag. It all began with the 1933 Pierce Arrow Silver Arrow, designed by Phil Wright. After he was laid off by General Motors because of budget cuts, he took his design to his friend Roy Faulkner, who was the vice president of sales for Pierce Arrow. Not long after, Phil's design was on display at the 1933 Chicago Century of Progress Exposition. In response, GM Division Cadillac released a 1933 Cadillac V16 aerodynamic coupe with a similarly streamlined design. Another significant example of the Streamline Modern style cars was the 1934 Chrysler Airflow, with its famous Art Deco style, formed by the automotive industry's first ever wind tunnel. This is the conclusion of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for future episodes.